Hello, welcome to Look Around, Monday's news and sport for Cumbria and the south of Scotland. On the programme tonight,
the pressures of the pandemic still being felt by local health services.
Join us in Keswick to find out why a group of pub landlords say they now face unemployment.
United through dance, the women coming together to celebrate South Asian culture.
Plus the campaign to stop this native species disappearing from the Cumbrian fells.
And we're in Hawick, a town that takes great pride in its Lions legacy, where two more names have just written themselves into history.
Hello, thank you for your company. We hope your week has started well. First tonight, the region's hospitals are reporting extreme pressure due to the effects of the pandemic.
Yeah, staff having to isolate is one of the factors impacting health services at the moment, and it's not the only sector affected, as Lewis Warner reports.
Some collections have been cancelled here in Copeland following a steep rise in the number of self-isolating refuse workers. At one point, 40% of all crews were off work, forcing garden waste collections to be temporarily binned. The area's Conservative mayor says making refuse workers exempt from self-isolation will help relieve pressure.
You know, now clearly the waste workers are an essential service. And, you know, these guys have been heroes of this pandemic in every bit as much as any other public sector worker. You know, it's vitally important. The refuse is collected. So, you know, the pandemic and having high levels of absence is obviously having an adverse effect on collections.
The area has the fourth highest COVID rate in all of England and Wales. That's translating into extreme pressure being felt on NHS services in the north of the county.
So the hospital's under extreme pressure and we've seen record number of attendances over the weekend. However, the staff are working hard to deal with the patients that are coming in through the door that need to be seen due to their medical condition.
There's pressure too brought from frontline staff being advised to self-isolate, but we're told services are still operating.
We are challenged with staffing, but we're all working together to ensure that we maintain safe levels to look after the patients that we do have. So we're currently following the national guidance that if there is a ping, then we're recommending that people stay at home and isolate as per anyone else, and we will review that as it changes.
Similar pressure has also been reported at the Borders General Hospital in Melrose, but despite that, the national picture appears to be improving. The number of new COVID-19 infections in the UK has been falling in recent days. The last time there was a similar sustained drop was early February. But it is too early for the data to show any impacts of the lifting of most legal restrictions in England last Monday. Government insists it's watching the data closely as our health systems continue to feel the effects of the pandemic. Lewis Warner, ITV News.
Next tonight, a group of publicans in Keswick are warning they could soon be out of work after a brewery told them it would not be renewing their leases.
The landlords say they've spent their own money building up the businesses with the brewery's approval, and now they could face losing their jobs and in some cases even losing their homes. The brewery says it's acting in the best interests of the company. Ralph Blunson reports.
Carl Maloney runs the Oddfellows Arms public house in the centre of Keswick. His family have owned the lease since the early 1980s. As landlord, he's responsible for maintaining the building and pays rent to the Marston Brewery. The company has told him it will not renew his lease when it runs out next year.
We're basically shutting the door. We're out, they're in, they use our staff, they use our business model, they use our menus, they use everything that we've built up for 39 years and they just come in and operate it themselves.
At the nearby George Hotel, landlord Howard Speck says he planned to hand the lease to his son and daughter to ensure the business stayed in the family. He says they had no warning the brewery were not going to renew it.
Devastated. We've had the lease for 14 years. We bought the lease and we've worked hard, invested, have grown the business substantially into a very successful business, and to be told that you're out, devastated, just our life's been turned upside down.
Marston's plans to put in managers to run the pubs instead. It's told us the company constantly reviews its estate on a pub-by-pub basis. It's decided it's best for the business to operate the pubs in a different model. Altogether, there are 5 businesses in the area where leases will not be renewed, including the Royal Oak at Braithwaite. The publicans say they had no idea their leases were not going to be renewed. They say in some cases they've spent their life savings building up the businesses. Now they say it's all going to be taken away from them. At the Royal Oak, landlady Fiona Law says she spent more than £200,000 improving the building since she took on the lease 5 years ago.
Structurally, the building was needing a lot of work done to it. We had to put new windows in, the windows were cracked, we had to rebuild the fireplace wall, which had a large hole in it. Then the bedrooms hadn't had any work at all done in them in the last 22 years, so needed updating, seriously updating, which we did over, we thought, a 5-year period, and then any money we made after that would be ours, and obviously it's not.
Marston's says investment in any business is the decision of the business owner. It says it has given the statutory notice of 12 months that it's finishing the leases. The publicans are now calling for changes in the law to give them better protection. Ralph Blunson, ITV News, Keswick.
Emergency services are urging people not to mix alcohol and open water swimming. It follows a week of call-outs to people getting into difficulty in waters in Cumbria during the hot weather, where 3 swimmers died in the space of 4 days.
It slows down your judgment. You maybe don't realise just as quick what's happening, and by the time you realise, it could be too late. So yeah, don't mix alcohol and water if you can help it.
You're watching Look Around. Thanks very much for your company this Monday evening. Still to come on the programme.
A major milestone for this historic structure, which has connected England and Scotland for more than 200 years.
And a warm start to the week with plenty of sunshine, but the climbing temperatures will trigger a fair few showers tomorrow. Warnings already in place for those. I'll have the forecast later in the programme.
Now, all through July, people around the region and across the UK are celebrating South Asian Heritage Month. It aims to raise the profile of and celebrate South Asian heritage and history.
In Carlisle, a group of women have been learning Bollywood and traditional Indian dance as a way to find out more about different cultures. Matthew Taylor reports.
Dancing for pleasure, but also to celebrate South Asian culture, both traditional and modern. Organised by Multicultural Cumbria, these free sessions are led by experienced teachers and enable women from all backgrounds to come together and find common ground through music and movement.
It's amazing to see people enjoying themselves with lots of different movements, their way of dancing, and it's quite interesting and overwhelming as well. It's really good how people adapted the way you tell them to learn. It's amazing.
The dance carousel sessions also provide a relaxed environment for women to meet new people and to learn more about each other's backgrounds and culture.
It's so important. One of the reasons is because the women who actually deliver the classes have got so much culture to offer, and it's all authentic culture that is otherwise unseen. So we really try to offer a platform so that they can share that, and to also then give women in Carlisle the chance to do something they wouldn't otherwise get to do.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What?
Dance is a language that needs no words and allows people to make new friends through shared interests and experiences.
I'm from India, and after coming from India here, sometimes I felt that I'm not able to mingle with the people. But by showing my culture, my dance style, I am feeling that I can connect with the people more better way now.
Multicultural Cumbria hopes that South Asian Heritage Month becomes another regular date in the diary, a celebration of diversity and the richness of heritage seen in Cumbria today and in the future. Matthew Taylor, ITV News.
Some great pictures there, terrific community, and weren't they all good?
They were really good, everybody.
Superb dancing.
Spot on.
Right, next tonight, a campaign to bring attention to the plight of fell ponies, a breed native to the Cumbrian hills. Numbers have reduced because of changes to farming practices.
An exhibition's opened at Watermillock near Ullswater and it includes these images, and the photographer hopes that her work will help to raise awareness of the native breed.
Numbers are fairly good for just generally worldwide with breeders and everything, but the traditional hill-bred fell pony is in decline. And these are the ones that are, they're born on the fell like they traditionally were. They're formed by the landscape. The landscape is sort of formed by them as well. And those are the sort of fundamental parts of what makes a fell pony a fell pony. And they are under significant threat at the moment. And a lot of the traditional herds are being disbanded and dispersed.
Well, as well as the exhibition, there are plans to create a heritage centre dedicated to preserving the animals and showcasing their historic connection to the county.
Fiona Molly-Patterson has been finding out more about the ponies that have helped to shape Cumbria's beautiful landscape.
In the hills overlooking the M6 are an endangered species, once a staple of Cumbrian life, bearing the name of our land, fell ponies.
It is said that the Romans used the indigenous ponies that lived in this amazing countryside to help build Hadrian's Wall. The indigenous people who lived here used them for all kind of work. In the medieval times, they were used as pack ponies, carrying the wool, which was the very important trade from this area. When the Industrial Revolution started at the end of the 1700s, again, they were used as pack animals. They were used on surface work at the coal mines and in an industry. Some were used down the mines as pit ponies, but only on the very large pit sites that had the room to take them. As you can see by the way they're built, they have a body of a horse, but they're on short legs, which makes them especially useful for pack work because a grown man could easily put the produce into packs on either side of their backs.
There are only around 6,500 fell ponies in the world, and 200 breeding mares are here on the Cumbrian fells. And although they live in the wild, they're not wild. They are all owned, and these ones all have names. So we have Violet and Lula. This is Lancer. Her mum is Polly. We also have Marnie and Belle, and Happy Feet and Liberator, otherwise known as Socks.
They are even-tempered, i.e. they have nice characters. They're kind, they're gentle once they're trained. Now, their coats protect them from the weather as well, because the wolds, like our fingerprint, go in the right direction to make the water from the rain just pour off their bodies. They're also extremely important for the ecology and the environment up on the fell. They are part of the equilibrium that has been built up over hundreds and hundreds of years. Their grazing helps plants, insects. So you've got bilberries up here. The heather is helped by their grazing because they will eat the coarse and rank grasses, and they'll also eat the mosses that grow around the heather plants, and so will stimulate their growth. So they're a real asset in the way they graze.
But this native breed is dying out. There's a campaign to raise money for a heritage centre, and you can see more in the exhibition in Ullswater. Fiona Molly-Patterson, ITV News, Round 8.
And the ITV Evening News continues after us with your national and international headlines.
Coming up, the gold rush begins in Tokyo as Adam Peaty makes history and Tom Daley gets the gold he'd always dreamed of. We get reaction from them and those who know them best. Also ahead, the worst weekend of water deaths in memory, a warning over swimming while on staycation. as British troops leave Afghanistan, a new series on the men whose lives were changed by that war. Will you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Now, celebrations to mark one of the most important bridges in our region took place near the England-Scotland border today. The Union Chain Bridge has connected the Scottish borders with Northumberland for more than 200 years.
201 years, in fact. It's the oldest suspension bridge in the world, still to carry traffic. It's currently closed for major restoration works, but those involved were still keen to mark the occasion. Claire McNeil reports.
Unique entertainment for a unique occasion. It's not every day you get to mark a 201st birthday. And with last year's bicentenary of the Union Chain Bridge cancelled due to COVID, there was extra reason to celebrate at this picnic today.
So when the bridge opened in 1820, it was opened with lots of celebration and fanfare. So we're trying to replicate a little bit of that today. We've got some musicians here who are going to be playing some 1820s inspired music. We've got some Morris dancers who are going to be entertaining us as well with some traditional dancing.
When it opened in 1820, this structure was the longest iron suspension bridge in the world, stretching 137 metres across the Tweed. And some of the party guests here today believe it's a landmark worth commemorating.
So we've come along to enjoy the music and the costumes and have a good time out.
Well, unfortunately, we couldn't celebrate last year because of the COVID restrictions, and this is the first event that we've actually been to since the regulations have been lifted, and what a nice event to attend.
I've quite a close affinity with the Chain Bridge. My father and all my ancestors before him, they were all salmon fishermen. They made their living at the other side of the bridge, the Scottish side, Scotch New Water, so it means quite a lot to us.
Earlier this year, the bridge was dismantled for a £10 million restoration and will soon be put back together again. While the bridge is closed, people travelling between the borders and Northumberland are having to take a 10-mile detour. It's a stark reminder of why the bridge was built in the first place and how important it's been in connecting these communities for more than 200 years. It's set to reopen by the end of the year, and I'm sure there'll be yet more celebrations when it does. Claire McNeil, ITV News, near the Union Chain Bridge.
201 years.
You corrected me.
sure we'll be there again for his 202nd. This time next year on Lookaround. Ross, welcome. What have you got for us?
Lovely day for a bit of country dancing. Was that country dancing?
Morris dancing?
Morris dancing. Just dancing generally,
yeah.
wherever you are. Some fine weather, lots of sunshine, 25 degrees in Keswick today. Beautiful scenes like this, actually. It has just had that real summer vibe for a good couple of weeks now, actually. Those temperatures really have been climbing. Not quite as high as last week, where we did get those 30 degrees plus, which does seem a little bit ridiculous. But calm and warm, good weather for our bees. Pollen levels, though, are starting to fall. The pollen, grass pollen particularly, is starting to drop off, but still lots of beautiful flowers around at the moment. So I'd say ideal for bees, ideal for dancing at the moment. Not so great though as we head into tomorrow. So tomorrow it is staying warm, just not as calm. Okay, let me just talk you through some weather warnings. We haven't seen these for a little while. And these are for some heavy, thundery downpours. There are two warnings in place. Pretty much. I mean, Dumfries and Galloway escaping the worst. So enjoy that.
Yeah. Nearly everywhere, correct myself,
Southern Scotland gets it right through tomorrow, basically. And actually Cumbria gets it through tomorrow and then into Wednesday morning as well. 20 to 30 millimetres of rainfall possible in just a short amount of time. But there is some sunshine in the mix too. Here's your forecast.
That sunshine really made your eyeshadow pop, you know? And you put the wipe in the bin, not the toilet.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Border Weather.
Go ahead, Queen.
We are holding on to the warm temperatures for the next few days, but things are changing and we are seeing some heavy showers moving in, particularly through tomorrow into Wednesday. In any sunshine, feeling nice and summery, but those showers quite frequent for some of us and slow moving as well with light breezes. We do have an area of low pressure now right over the UK. That's going to linger through the next few days and we're going to see the unstable air right over us. So where the temperatures start to rise, we'll see those showers developing, also longer spells spells of rain trying to work their way in from the west. Quite a messy picture through the next couple of days. Contrast that to now. Very small chance of an isolated shower through this evening, but generally dry, light breezes, clear skies, and we will see some patches of mist start to form into the early hours. Temperatures again holding up, 13, 14 degrees the overnight low. Light breezes into tomorrow morning, clear skies, so quite quickly those temperatures will start to pick up. Any mist quick to disappear. Now through the morning, bits of cloud coming and going, but staying mostly dry. By around 11 o'clock into midday, we'll start to see those showers developing. Sometimes on the heavy side, we do have that warning in place, but they are still well scattered and in between some good spells of sunshine. And where we do get the sunshine, highs are 23, 24 degrees. But again, a few degrees fresher out towards coastal areas, but still holding on to those warm conditions. Tuesday, through the late part of the day, the showers will intensify for a time. That area of low pressure right over the UK. You can see this band of rain here too, pushing its way across the region through the early part of Wednesday, clearing up towards the north as we go into the afternoon. Behind that, again, we're looking at sunny spells and a scattering of showers. And really, that theme will continue through the next few days. Sunshine and showers and highs up in the high teens or the low 20s.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Border Weather.
Those eyebrows are unreal.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
As we are coming towards the end of the grass pollen season, and of course with the weather turning a bit more unstable through the next few days. Better news if you do have hay fever. Pollen levels dropping down to moderate, low even as we head towards the end of the week.
Thank you, Ross, and that's it from us this evening. Next up, it's the national and international news.
And I'll be back with an update at 10:30 tonight. But for now, from all the team here, goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.